Hello, everyone. So, one of my Patreon members asked me to do a reading on someone named Michael Desmarquet. I think I pronounced that correctly, I'm not sure. Either way, I know nothing about this guy. Well, I didn't know anything about this guy when I did the reading. I just finished the reading and then I looked him up, and it was someone who apparently says he's been abducted to the ninth planet, whatever that is. And he talks about aliens and things of that nature. So if you know anything about Michael Desmarquet, some interesting sounds coming from outside. Anyways, um, if you know anything about him, then you know more about him than I do, besides for what I read. So I just did a quick read on him just to see what would come up. So this is what I wrote. I wrote abstract spiritual thinker, draws upon philosophy and ideas of duality and categories, intrigued by anything mystical in nature, inspired by the bizarre. He has found his own answers to things, preaching them to the public. I do not see a large following, but there is a decent amount of very dedicated followers. He is making his voice heard loud and clear, as if teaching the commandments. He has stories about what we all are as a human race and what we are meant to be doing. He wants to help people remember their true soul purpose. He is in touch with some of this information himself through himself. In other words, he found this information through himself, not from, reading about it or whatever. He seems to have found his own truth, but used other systems of thought, philosophy, religion, and spirituality to help him get there. He is very convinced of what he believes now, as if he could carve it into stone. He is teaching people to do specific techniques like a drill sergeant in order to achieve the desired results of his brand of enlightenment. And keep in mind, this isn't all meant to be taken 100% literally. This is just kind of more like reading the energy of where he's at. So, sometimes this may be more representative of something than literal. I don't know if he's actually teaching people techniques, but it could just be not techniques as much as just like thoughts. Could be something like that. I don't know. I don't actually know anything about this guy. It seems like he is using techniques of synchronicity similar to tarot cards, but represented as a dial. There are a lot of distractions outside right now. Represented as a dial that is spun, and triangles that are spun that land in a particular angle, like a clock, to designate a meaning, like a tarot card would. This is like divining an answer from the gods, universe, or God. Maybe that could include aliens. He seems to not care how it works as much as proving and showing that it does work. He's very focused on making it known that these methods work. He is a bit of a drill sergeant in that manner. He does take the time to go deep into his own trance with this sense of a relationship with the divine. He feels somewhat special and capable of more than the average human. He finds answers by going into this trance and communing with the gods. Maybe that's aliens. Well, what I read it as was gods. Sometimes people view aliens as gods. He seems to be able to access the astral plane to find answers in a dreamlike state of communication with powerful demigods. He is powerful enough to decipher the real info from the manipulative beings trying to control him. He seems to have a sense of what is truth and what isn't. However, there is a sense of strong pride that can make his perception become somewhat dogmatic in nature. He may make over-the-top blanket statements that may be half-truths. From his experience, something may only be one particular way or the best way, but I get that there are other paths that he is unaware of. It is as if he thinks he is one of the only people to find the truth because he views it as there being only one correct path. Or maybe that I would add, now that I've looked him up, only one experience. Maybe there's more such different situations than what he's experienced or aware of. He has access to some very good guidance in his life through this method. And maybe method would be replaced by experience now that I've looked him up and know more about kind of what he's about. He is very masculine and somewhat hard-headed. He is very determined and could be described as having a level of angst towards achieving his goals. He is very much so focused on results and getting to the finish line. His opinions may be stated as spiritual laws when in fact they are just his opinion. This is something to watch out for. He seems helpful to type A personalities. He is good for driven people who want to accomplish achievements that are recognizable by society and to be accredited for their efforts. And I would add, now that I know more about him, to be validated as real. He is a little bit caught up in proving himself. However, he is speaking his truth and it does seem honest and legit. The danger is of falling in a cult-like trance of this guy's words. He may be able to wake many people up and help in that regard, but there are many other subtle truths that he may stomp over in his conclusions. Some of the more sensitive types may do better finding information from other places. Those who take things too literally may also want to be cautious. He is trying to make himself known to the world like an author to a book or even a WWE fighter. And those are just the two things that popped up in my mind when I was reading. An author to a book and a WWE fighter. So I did actually look him up and he is actually an author to a book. The WWE fighter I think is more about his kind of attitude towards, achievement and pushing through the challenges, that kind of masculine energy, I guess you could say. So you can go ahead and look him up yourself and tell me if what I said makes sense or not, because I don't know anything about him. So anyways, that's my reading on him. I hope you like it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to join my Patreon, it's $5 a month. You can see all my posts. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching and have a great day.